good day, family. It is amazing time to be alive. We made it in 2024, and thank God that we all here. Not everybody made it, but thank God we're here. Yes, it's been a minute since you seen my face. It's been a minute since we did one of our traditional Bible studies online, but it's coming and it's coming back full force. And man, I'm so excited that we are back at it because we really had some great topics, and man, it just feel good to be at it. I'm here sitting at home. Unfortunately, I had to have a hip replacement. Don't tell nobody. But other than that, man, I'm still doing amazingly great. But I am gonna talk to y'all about something today. I'm not just gonna let y'all walk away and not have nothing to think about. And the thing and topic that I do want to talk about is sin, because a lot of times we don't really get to talk about sin. Sin is one of those things that is tricky. It's tricky because people don't realize that a person can be in love with their sin. A person can be happy with their sin. A person can be in lust with their sin. A person could be, there's so many things that can happen when a person is indulged into their sin. And people think just because it's sin, it's supposed to be bad. No, it's not. There's some things that you people enjoy doing that are sinful, but it's not in the will of God. Sin is missing the mark. And what you mean by missing the mark? Missing the purpose and point of life. And you have to understand that part, missing the point and purpose of life. What is the purpose of your life? What is the point of your life? And once you understand that, you understand what it means to miss the mark. But what I am going to talk about is how sin work, because a lot of times people don't quite understand how sin work. So that's how you can get bamboozled a little bit, because not understanding how sin actually works. Sin works in a way that ultimate allows you not to be what God intended for you to be. Just giving examples of sin, having a sinful behavior, sinful action, and sin itself. If you live that sin for too long, what it end up basically happening is it'll actually start reflecting off of your life, which means that people will begin to see your sin. You be like, how? What you mean by people be able to see my sin? Drunkenness is a sin. I can go down the street and I can look and see those people who are dealing with the drunkenness. Homosexuality is a sin. I can walk down the street and I can begin to see those people who are dealing with those sins. Those types of things. Once you carry that sin in you and you live it for a period of time, it becomes ingrained and engulf your whole soul. It engulfs you, period, because that sin takes over your life, whether you believe it or not. One of the things that I like to talk about is that when sin enters your life, and it enters your life, but it enters your life at a point of sometimes it's something that you're missing, something that you think you need, something that you think you want. But what end up happening is that sin, if you don't crucify that sin daily, that sin will plant itself, seed itself, root itself inside of you, and it begin to grow. It produces, it germinates, it grows up, it produces fruit. Once it produces fruit produces seeds. That sin begin to reproduce itself in you over and over and over again. And you'll find yourself trapped in something that you don't even know how you get into it. That's how a person that's dealing with homosexuality, you one day you see them, you be like, oh, I kind of felt they was that way. And then you see him a month later and you be like, oh, and then you see him 3 months later and he's fully engulfed in the homosexuality lifestyle. That sin has a way of reproducing itself more and more within you, and before you know it, you kind of trapped into it. Sin is one of those things that if you don't get a hold of, if you don't crucify it and kill it every single day, it's going to be hard to come out of it tomorrow, because you're not killing one sin, you're killing two sins. Third day, you're killing three sins, because it keeps reproducing itself every day. And that's what people don't quite understand. I think people think, oh, I just got one sin. I just have one sin. That's all I do. All I do is get drunk occasionally. That's my only sin. If that was the case, then how easy would it be to stop? You have to understand how it reproduces, how it roots in your spirit, how it reproduces, how it produces fruit, and on and on and on again until it builds up. A sin will build up strength in you. Let's say, for instance, a man goes out, he commits a sin, and he said, "Oh my God," he feels bad about it. He said, the Holy Spirit is attacking him, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna never do this again." And he walks off and do it. He walks off and won't do it again. But then you got the man that does the same thing. And then even though he does the same thing, he actually comes back and he tried again. He has less conviction. He tries it again, less conviction. He tries it again, less conviction. And eventually, over time, there's no conviction. The sin has doubled in space in here. It doubled in space in here. That's why now that sin has multiplied. Now that sin has a stronghold. That sin has a deepened root in your spirit. Now that sin isn't, I can stop today or stop tomorrow. Now it's a process to get rid of that sin. Now you have to find somebody to till that soil, till that ground, and make sure and remove that from you, because you're engulfed in that sin. Another thing about sin is that sometimes sin is one of those things where you can get caught up in sin. You can get caught up in a situation such as this right here. And I tell people that whole thing about all birds, same feathers flock together. It's true. It's true even with sin, because sin can camouflage itself to you. Give you an example. One drunk don't see himself as a drunk. He sees it as normal. So now that drunk, he sees other drunks. He don't see them as being drunk. They normal folks just like he is. Oh, you know what he like to say? Don't judge me. It's just a little alcohol. I'm just taking a drink. But for believers that understand and don't have that sin, when we see him, we see that sin. But to him, it's camouflage. So a lot of times, as believers, our own personal sins get camouflaged to us because we're dealing with it. It's kind of hard to see your own sins when you're dealing with it. And plus, in your mind, you're making excuses of how it's not a sin, why it's not a sin, how I can do it, or you just basically got it hidden from the world, but not from God. So those are things that happen. But that is how sin can camouflage itself. Homosexuality, this is my truth. How is it your truth? It's camouflage. And I also tell people all the time that you got to make sure, because let's use that example of a homosexual person that came from one day you kind of saw it, next day you didn't see it, you kind of saw it a little bit more, third month you saw it even more, it was evident. Then what ended up happening, now he's engulfed in it. But what ended up happening is it became camouflage to him. And I'm gonna tell you what sin like to do. Sin like to hang around sin. He might sound weird, but sin like to hang around sin. He didn't have no homosexual friends. All of a sudden, he got many homosexual friends. Where all these homosexual friends come from? And every one of them saying, "Oh, I'm living my truth. I am doing the right thing. I am, and this ain't sin," because that's the part of the camouflage that sin tends to take on you when you're engulfed in it. And I'm not saying that I'm without any sins, but I am saying how sin works, how it works on you internal, how it works internal. Because you got to remember, God cannot dwell in a sinful place, but he can help you remove that sin to dwell in you. I mean, you have to decide. You have to decide whether I'm going to empty this vessel out and put God in it, or I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave the sin, because I said it earlier that so many people are truly in love with their own sins. And it's not a bad thing to admit, but it is a good thing to understand. It's a good thing to understand how sin works. It's a good thing to understand how it works, because if you understand how it works, it gives you ammunition to fight it. It gives you ammunition that today I'm crucifying this flesh again. You wake up again, today I'm crucifying this flesh again. And you wake up again, today I'm crucifying this flesh again. And then that makes it easier for you, because you kill that very seed in you that was trying to sprout up. And then if it sprout up again tomorrow, I'm gonna kill it again. But then you got to understand this part. Once you start crucifying that seed, it makes it hard for you to be around other people who dealing with that seed. Because you got to just remember, I just killed this seed. And if I just killed the seed within me, if I'm around you, my spirit in me, the spirit man in me, want to kill that seed. So it's gonna look like I'm an enemy, and I am gonna be an enemy, because my every fiber in me want to kill that seed, because that seed cannot come back on my grounds anymore. So that's how a lot of people get, oh, you judging me? Are you doing this? No, I'm not judging you. No, I'm not hating you as a person. But that seed in you can't be planted in my soul. Can't be planted in my ground. I talked about in one of my videos a while ago about we are gardeners of our own lives, and we have to protect our grounds. And this is one of the things that we have to do. So if I'm killing these seeds in my garden, why would I let you bring your seeds over on my ground? Because if you bring your seeds on my ground, it's a threat to my life. So because it's a threat to my life, it is my job to crucify it. So you might feel bad about it, but that's how it goes. This is just some examples of sin. I mean, I can go, man, I really want to teach a whole class on this, because it goes deeper than you might can understand, because, people don't realize how when you engulf or indulge in sin, how that sin become the reflection of you. And again, I use homosexuality as an example, how when they engulfed in that, it comes with a look. Drunkenness comes with a look. Whoremonger comes with a look. Prostitution comes with a look. All sins come with a look. This the reflection of you once you indulge in that sin. It's a reflection of you. There's not many places that you ever been and you looked at people and didn't see the reflection of the sins that they're dealing with. And if you didn't see the reflection of the sins that they're dealing with, then most likely you might be dealing with some of those same sins, because it has then camouflaged itself from you. Man, I mean, that's 13 minutes of just talking about sin. But I thought it would be nice to talk about it. It is a topic that many people can sit down in their homes with family, church members, and talk about understanding how sin works and how sin can corrupt the body and corrupt the mind, the soul, and separate you from the Father. I pray that a lot of this stuff is common knowledge, and it's not nothing that we don't feel afraid to talk about, and we're not afraid about hurting people's feelings, because we're living in a time where that the world is trying to creep its way into the church and become the leader of the church. And I often tell people all the time, the world isn't the stepping stone. The church is the stepping stone. We have always been the stepping stone, and we will continue being the stepping stone. We are the head of the horse. We are the seat at the top of the table. We are the people that teach the world about God and the will of God. But my friends, family, this has been a good little talk. I hope somebody gets something out of it. If you have any questions, please, please reach out to me. Definitely, I will be going back into this, and we'll sit down and do a whole 30, 45-minute segment on this, on how sin works, because I want people to start understanding that it ain't by chance that that the sin that you're dealing with chose you. It was that sin has been pointed directly at you, because they know your weakness. It knows what you need, know what you want. It knows your emotional, mental. It knows everything. That it's not by chance that that sin has chosen you and you've chosen that sin. But definitely, friends, family, it's been great. Love chatting and talking with you. I hope this video turned out all right. But I post it, love it, like it. Hey, y'all, let's enjoy life. It's 2024. Man, God has been good.